Minister, it's clear how much fishing depends on the UK waters and the agreement there. And high-value stocks, for example, like mackerel and prawns, are dependent on access to fishing waters. Some stocks, actually 60%, are from the UK waters, which I know you know this. But we saw there that in the last month that the EU was willing to move its position in relation to fishing to get an agreement with the UK. And the EU Observer has reported that on fishing quotas, where the EU said an agreement is a prerequisite to a broad trade deal, there has been little progress, although Brussels seemed to try to move away from that original position. And EU countries such as France, the Netherlands, Ireland and Denmark, which largely benefit from the current system, might nevertheless insist on a tough line. So it seems that we had to step in there to stop the EU rolling back on that agreement and making sure that fishing would be linked into the final trade agreement. What are we going to do? And and if France moves away from one of those countries, I think we're finished, and that the EU trade deal will go ahead, and the breakdown will do it. And it's been reported today, actually, by Reuters, that the French Parliament has put a report to the French government on fishing. And it says that the Union must continue to guarantee that fishing won't be sacrificed to save other sectors, the report as seen by Reuters has said. And EU diplomats had told Reuters last month that the EU is willing to shift its stance on fisheries and move from the maximalist position of maintaining the situation as it is in order to help forge a trade deal with Britain. So it's clear that movement is taking place. I'm just wondering, is that movement still taking place? Or are you happy that it has been stopped and that fishing now is back in the fold, and that the final trade deal is dependent, fishing stocks are going to be dependent on a final trade deal? And I would like you to categorically clear that up in your contribution. I think as Ireland, we're in a difficult position because we can't rely on the Brits to look after us, and I feel that we won't be able to rely on the European Union either, and that's ultimately what's going to happen in relation to it. So I'd like to hear your views on it.
In relation to fisheries, there has never been any leaving of the fold, so fisheries is very much a part of the overall negotiations and cannot and will be separated. And Michel Barnier made that very clear in a statement which he made in advance of the last round of negotiations, which started last week. Excuse me? Well, I think the position is very clear. He reiterated again in advance of the last negotiations that he has a very clear mandate, and that mandate from the 27 member states is that fisheries cannot be separated from the overall negotiations, and that an overall negotiation can't be reached without an agreement on fisheries. So that's very clear, and that's the position that was made clear by Michel Barnier, but also by the 27 ministers representing this industry as well.